If you ever wanted to know where that particular gift came from, well, here's your answer. A legacy of heroes. Ultraman Mebius. Hello and welcome to Earth Alien ProtoMet. And today I'll be covering Ultraman Mebius, which was created to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Ultra series. So does it live up to the legacy that it was created to celebrate? Let's find out. Over 25 years after the last string of kaiju attacks, humanity is living in peace. But when a new string of attacks begin, an unprepared defense team, crew guys, find itself low on manpower. As a new Ultraman appears to defend Earth, named Mebius, guys must seek out new members in order to defend humanity from the threats it now faces, both new and old. And unbeknownst to them, one of their newest recruits, Mirai Hibino, is in fact Mebius himself, who is eager to learn about the world his predecessors protected with all their hearts so long ago. This series is set in the Showa timeline of the Ultra series, and as such it's considered canon to Ultraman, Ultra 7, Return of Ultraman, Ultraman Ace, Ultraman Taro, Ultraman Leo, and Ultraman 80. Whew, that's quite a few of them. As such, monsters from many of those shows make appearances in this show, but in addition to the returning monsters, there are also plenty of new monsters, such as Bogarl, who serves as the show's lead antagonist for the first story arc. And of course, in order to protect the world from the monsters, a defense team is needed. While I did mention that guys needed to gather members during the plot synopsis, that detail gets resolved very early on. And unlike many of the shows of the Showa era, the members of Crew Guys are given quite a bit of focus and development over the course of the series. The first member of the team, Ryu Aihara, is a hot-headed but determined individual who is the only active member of the team at the start of the series, and who's somewhat haunted by the apparent death of his previous commander at the start of the series. Joining him is the ever-cheerful yet naive Mirai, whom I mentioned before and will talk about later, who is the one to gather the other members of the team after a chance encounter during the first monster attack. The other members include Marina Kazuma, a motorcycle racer with a keen ear, who's a sharpshooter that looks out for her teammates. George Ikaruga is a pro soccer player who has a bit of an ego and who can occasionally grandstand, but his confidence and his abilities are second to none. Teppei Kuze is a medical student who is almost obsessed with kaiju and works to coordinate the team to implement strategies to deal with the monsters that had appeared in the past. Konomi Amagai is a former kindergarten teacher with self-confidence issues, but who, like Mirai, is a cheerful presence on the team and helps with communications. Leading them is Captain Shingo Sakomizu, a coffee-loving man who keeps a cool head in even the most chaotic situations, and who has quite a few secrets. There's also the adjutant of guys, Toriyama, and his assistant Maru, who act as comic relief for the series, but who can be inspirational when necessary. And finally is Yuki Misaki, the Deputy Inspector General who acts as a go-between for Crew Guys and the mysterious Inspector General of the organization. If I were to make a list of my favorite defense teams in the Ultra series, Crew Guys would easily take the top spot because of how well developed each of the characters are. And the dynamic between the characters is one of my favorite parts of this series. But of course, it wouldn't be Ultraman without an Ultraman, and Mebius is a great character. Similar to Ultra 7 and 80, Mebius lives among the humans and interacts with them, allowing the viewer to get a better understanding of how Ultras view the world. And because Mebius is a rookie hero, this allows us to see his journey to understand just why his predecessors love the Earth as much as they do. And he gains quite a few techniques and abilities over the course of the series, and they feel very much earned. This brings us to the show's secondary hero, Ultraman Hikari, who initially is obsessed with hunting down Bogarl. Donning the Tsurugi armor, he seeks to destroy Bogarl with no regard for the humans that could be hurt by his quest for vengeance.
The reason why he's so obsessed is revealed in a spin-off miniseries, as well as the show proper, but for much of the show's initial story arc, Hikari acts as an anti-hero, making him much different from the Ultras that have come before. But he does eventually come to realize how blind his obsession has made him, and realizes that he almost became just like the monster he'd been hunting in the first place. This allows him to have a fantastic redemption arc in the series after he sees the light.
You see, because Ultras are called Giants of Light. It's a pun.
The show also brings back two of Ultra 7's capsule monsters, Miklas and Wyndham, in the form of Maquette Kaiju, temporary monsters created from a form of energy called Meteor. In addition to being used to manifest Miklas and Wyndham, as well as a tiny King that soon becomes the mascot of Crew Guys, Meteor is also used to give the defense team's fighter planes high mobility for a limited time, allowing for some of the best vehicle fight scenes in the franchise. Sure, they may use a lot of CGI, but it looks really good and accomplishes much more than the practical effects, which are still heavily used, are capable of reaching.
But some of my favorite parts of the show I can't talk about with going into spoiler territory. So if you don't want to be spoiled, jump to this time in the video. And with that having been said, spoiler time.
More than halfway through the series, Mirais reveals his secret to the other members of Guys. After this revelation, the team grows even closer, as they now better understand the giant they've been fighting alongside this whole time. And the team not only agreed to keep Mirais' secret, but also strategized plans of attack to better account for Mebius and his abilities, allowing the whole team to work more cohesively.
It's probably part of the reason why I kind of keep hoping that more recent seasons will have the secret get revealed earlier than, the end of the show. But I suppose if they all had that, then Mebius wouldn't feel as special as it does.
But after that big reveal, the show goes even further by revealing that the monster attacks, and later the alien attacks, are all being provoked by a mysterious signal. This is one of the few shows that gives a good explanation for why the monsters are even aggressive at all, and it all ties back to an alien that was mentioned in passing all the way back in Ultraman Taro. Alien Emperor. As the series progresses through its final arc, Mebius and Crew Guys are put through the ringer to deal with the escalating threat, but the show also takes the opportunity to pay respects to the Showa series, giving us the return of the lead actors of almost every show, with the only exception being Taro, who only ever appears transformed in this series. And these guest episodes are some of my favorites for various reasons.
So, to answer the question that I raised earlier, does Ultraman Mebius live up to the legacy of the Ultra series? Absolutely. With the great characters, the great mix of classic and new monsters, as well as the fantastic final story arc, Ultraman Mebius is a great series to watch, even if you have no previous experience with the franchise. I can strongly recommend that you give this show a watch. Until next time, I'm ProtoMet. See ya.